I'm Fernando Perez, and we're here with the second episode of Election Connection. I'm here with...
And I'm Steve Goltiao. I'm Associate Communications Officer with the Registrar of Voters of Santa Clara County.
Let's get right into it.
All right.
So, obviously we've had some automatic recounts, and I think a lot of people are just curious about what that is. If you can walk us through the process about that.
So an automatic recount is triggered when the margin of victory is less than 0.25% or less than 25 votes between the two candidates. So whenever you have that type of situation, it triggers an automatic recount where the county would have to then go back and do a manual recount of all the ballots to get a final answer on who the real winner is in that contest.
Okay, nice. Very interesting. And how long did the recount take?
So the recount that we had for the November general election was for the Sunnyvale City Council District 3. That recount took about 4 days, 1 full day and then 3 partial days. Basically, it was a very small district, so it was able to be done in a short amount of time with just about 10 or so employees working on that recount.
Nice. Very interesting. Okay, so I know you kind of touched on this, but what's the process of that, and how many people are usually involved? Are these people brought onto the team, or is it other people from different sections of the RV?
Yeah, typically we have employees that are already working and that we call on to help do the manual recount process. Essentially, what they're doing is they're sitting at a table in groups of 4. We have one person actually physically looking at the ballot and reading out what that particular voter voted on. Someone else takes a manual tally on a piece of paper, noting down all of the choices, and then at the end, then they recount and they look at the 2 different numbers and make sure that they match up. So that's what they have to do for every ballot in that particular contest.
Very interesting. That's something that I didn't know. The manual part is very secure, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
In the instance there was like a tie, what would happen? What would be the procedure following that tie?
So in the instance of a tie, or if a tie does occur, according to California Elections Code 15651, it states that a jurisdiction can actually resolve a tie contest by drawing lots, which could be anything from drawing straws to rolling dice to flipping a coin. The city council could also decide that they'd like to run a special election in order to figure out who the winner would be.
So do automatic recounts postpone official results?
No, they don't. Automatic recounts must be conducted and completed prior to the certification of the official election results. So the recounts are performed, in our case, 2 weeks after the election was finished, and then there were 2 supplemental manual tallies that were done a few days before we actually had to certify. So they don't postpone the results. By law, we have to certify our results within 30 days of the election.
If you can kind of highlight the importance of voting, and especially in those close races, what would you say to the voters?
We can see plainly in this specific case that it was a matter of one person. One person. If that one person, or if any one of those people decided that one day that no, I didn't want to come out and vote that day, that could have flipped the results completely in the opposite direction. So yeah, it is very important that everybody go out and do their part, make their voice heard, and show up at the polls.
How common are automatic recounts?
They're not uncommon. The last one that we've had here in Santa Clara County was in 2020 during the presidential. So they're not rare. They happen, I would say, quite frequently. But I would say in most cases, the results from the manual recounts do not alter the outcome of the race.
Are automatic recounts something that the Santa Clara Registrar of Voters prepares for?
Yes, we're always prepared for it, and there's a whole lot that goes on to it. there's a whole lot that goes into preparing. But I'd say that it's all done procedural. Essentially, all of the pieces that we would need, for example, all the ballots that we would need to conduct a manual recount, they're already filed and separated and organized as we are counting them, as they're brought in and sorted and filed away. Just so that in the case that there is a manual recount, we can quickly and easily pull those ballots out, separate them from the rest, and we know exactly which ones need to be counted, and we're able to efficiently conduct the recount.
Okay, cool. What's the process through signature verification, especially in automatic recounts?
So the people that are doing signature verification are trained, they're highly trained to look at all the various points on a person's signature. Obviously, people's signature is not exactly the same every single time, and especially over time as people age or people get lazy about the way that they write it out. But there are still specific nuances that people can pick up on to indicate that yes, this is most likely or definitely the person that is that signed their signature.
What's the best way for voters to keep up with the automatic recount? Is there a website they can follow? Is there anything like that?
Look out for any of the press releases we do put out announcing any news that's election related. We put a press release out when we certified the election results, and that also included information about what our findings were with the manual recount as well.
And where are the press releases available?
So you can find our press releases by going to our website at sccvote.org, clicking on news and notices, and then in the drop-down menu, clicking on press releases, and it'll list our most recent press releases all the way to our oldest, all archived in that section of the site.
Perfect. It sounds like a lot of effort goes into these recounts. Who funds the recounts?
That's a good question. So in the event of an automatic recount, it's the county, the elections official that will pay for the cost of the recount. There are instances, however, where after the fact, after election, any voter or any registered voter, including candidates, can call for a recount of any of the contests. In that case, the requester of the recount must front the money for the cost of the recount. And that's something that they would have to put down a deposit for every day that the recount is conducted up until it ends. Now, in the event that there is a change in the outcome of the recount, then the requester would then get a refund on his money.
What are some long-term goals for the County of Santa Clara Registrar voters?
Well, the very long-term goal is to get 100% participation in every single election, so 100% voter turnout, which is obviously not possible. But it's our goal every single election to try and get the word out there, get the message out, get people more involved in in their local communities, in their local governments, making people aware that they have a voice, that the things that they vote for when they come into every election, and they put their they fill in the bubble that it's their decision, it's them stating, this is what I want, this is how I want my life to be, this is how I want my community to work. To be able to get more people involved and actually use their right. To me, voting is more than just a right; it's a responsibility. As a citizen of the U.S., I really believe that more people should be involved. More people need to be knowledgeable of what's out there. The issues that are facing our communities.
Thank you, Steve, for all the amazing answers and insights that you gave the viewers. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Election Connection. For the most reliable election news, follow us on our social media at SEC Vote or visit our website at sccvote.org. Catch us next week on another episode of Election Connection.
So I had a kids meal at McDonald's today. his mom got real angry.
I like that one.
All right, let me see. Do you like corny jokes? Why did the man fall into the well?
Why?
He couldn't see that well.
That's kind of good.